Okay, hello. My name is Jesse. When I do these videos, uh, I've used a different name. I do not like this format. I would rather just write an article and post it, but I think this is more efficient, time consuming. It's time consuming to write, to think, to produce ideas. Um, the world has gotten worse under Barack Hussein Obama. He's finishing up his last 2 years, and things are getting worse. The American people need to understand that they need to micromanage their government. They just can't elect uh, United States representatives in the House of Representatives and United States senators and expect that these individuals are going to go and be morally upright individuals and do what they're supposed to do. In the illegal immigration battle, we have seen the lack of interest in the public will by Republicans. Excuse me. All of us who pay attention know what the Democratic political um, perspective is. We know what they think and we know what they want to accomplish. We thought that Republicans were concerned about hardworking Americans who are going to suffer because of an influx or an increase in people from Mexico coming into this country. And it is true. I was born in Mexico. I live in the border town of El Paso, Texas, USA. All these jobs that I've had have been people contact, direct contact with the public. In how I earn my money today, I'm surrounded by people of Mexico and I'm hearing their attitudes. So when someone like me tells you that they're coming here to abuse the welfare system, the food stamps, housing, federal housing, you name a government program, and they have an interest in abusing it, you should believe us. But starting at the beginning, the issue of a radical Muslim terrorist organization, or even becoming a country now between Iraq and Syria. What are the issues there? Well, one of the issues that I see is that there isn't enough support for American intervention anywhere. Americans stand up, sacrifice their children, and get slapped for their effort. There has to be an equal partnership between the United States of America and all countries of good and decent people who stand to lose by not acting. The United States of America does have enough material resources to take care of the situation, to diminish the threat of ISIS. The President of the United States of America, he just loves to play word games. Nobody needs his psychobabble. They're called ISIS. They call themselves ISIS for a reason, because they believe they have reached statehood. And the president understands that if the concept in America's minds is ingrained that this is now a terrorist state, then he looks very bad. And he should look very bad. Everything that you're seeing from the information that for the last 2 years this president has been briefed by the national security elements of this threat, and for the last 2 years Mr. Obama has allowed it to continue. Didn't bother stepping up. Initially, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, it doesn't really matter when, even a year ago, he should have started doing what was necessary to put a stop to this kind of a threat. And we all belong to the human experience. That therefore we all have an equal responsibility to protect the human race. We have an equal opportunity to to diminish pain and suffering, to stop the murder of children, the rape of young girls. We all have an interest in it. If we don't do anything, then we're identifying ourselves as people who are not human beings. We cannot watch as murderers victimize innocent people, especially innocent children. So there's a need for those who identify themselves as people of freedom, of liberty, of independence, who profess to be good and decent, to stand up and do something to minimize the threat to the human race. And I say minimize because the reality is that these individuals are so motivated that they are never going to stop. 200 years from now, they're still going to be at it. And the only thing that you can do is completely remove them from planet Earth. But there are people who are going around saying foolishness like Islam is not a religion that Islam is a religion of peace. It's not. Read the Quran. Part of me wants to tell you to go and read the Quran. Part of me wants to tell you no, because it has the seductive language of Satan. If you read the Quran, you can be influenced by it. You might even convert to Islam, which would not be a good thing. However, as a historical document, as an examination into Islamic society, reading the Quran will more than make you aware that Islam is not a religion of peace. When you have just one simple statement, when you have kill or convert, that right there should tell you everything. But if you read it, you're going to find more than one example. There's a page there. I should get my copy. But there's a page there that says, pursue them to the ends of the earth. What does that tell you? How can... And then you got to look at the reality that the Quran is viewed as the... Let me think here. It is viewed as a divine revelation of God to one of his prophets. I don't see it that way. But the people who follow Islam see the Quran as divinely inspired. In other words, given by God. This is what God wants. How can you say that you follow God, but you won't follow his divine inspired word? And again, I don't see the Quran as God's divine inspired word. I don't see the Book of Mormon as God's inspired work. So dealing with this issue, you got to understand, one, that it is in the best interest of all decent, good people to stop this all over the world. America cannot take the lead. America cannot carry the majority of the weight. This has to be an equal partnership. We need to continue to share information. The American government needs to continue to share information with European countries, with Arab countries, in counterterrorism efforts. There's too much selfish interest in the part of Europeans. There's too much selfish interest in the part of Arab nations. They're the ones that have the most to lose. We're way over here. They are here. I hate to inform Americans, but you do have ISIS operatives inside the United States of America. Here in El Paso, Texas, I can go into Mexico, back into the United States 100 times, and not one Border Patrol agent is going to interfere with me. You're told that your southern border is protected. It is not. People from Mexico are still coming over in great numbers, and they're being assisted by the American government by where they post Border Patrol agents, what instructions, the rules of engagement. There's all areas completely unprotected. That metal gate that was placed, they're cutting that thing apart like a tortilla. They have the torches. They can cut a 2x2 hole in it, and everybody can crawl through that thing. And it's ironic that those people who deal in welding and well, things where you cut metal, they know that it doesn't take 10 minutes to cut through steel with a torch. So the time that, so what I'm trying to tell you is, the people from Mexico who are cutting holes in this fence are having enough time to cut the hole, get the people through, and then escort them into whatever safe house they have here in El Paso, Texas. You're being lied to by your government. You're being deliberately betrayed by your government. And I'm going to say you're going to be deliberately betrayed by your president, United States Congress, all the way down to the foot soldiers, the Border Patrol agents. I know you want to have a good opinion of them. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing is all bad, so I'm sure there are good and decent Border Patrol agents. But the reality is that you are being betrayed on that issue. Now, the midterm elections. Next issue, midterm elections. A serious issue. I haven't seen any movement from the American people. It seems that the Republican Party is still in charge. The Republican Party picks a candidate, and people vote for that candidate. You can't have any control if you're not willing to stand up and do something. You're going to have the same thing. I was having a conversation with a person, and I told that person, just watch. As soon as the midterm elections are over, Republicans are going to go back to trying to push illegal immigration reform. Meditate on the issue, and part of it is here internally in America, companies that want cheap labor, not because they can't function without cheap labor, it's just they make more profit when they're using cheap labor. It has nothing to do with the survival of the industry, the farmers, the growers, the hotel industry. Here in El Paso, Texas, there's a lot of people who are unemployed, want a job, but there's certain jobs they're not going to do. They're not going to work for fast food restaurants. They're not going to mop floors at a Walmart. They're not going to clean toilets in a hotel. So there's a need. And who ends up with that job is, I've heard congressmen talk about anchor babies, and that happens a lot in El Paso, Texas. The mother comes in, goes to the county hospital, it's called University Health Center, I believe is what it's called now, has her baby on American soil, baby's an American now, so, and goes back to Mexico. When she's relieved from the hospital, she goes back to Mexico with her American baby. And that child grows up in Mexico. Well, grows up here in El Paso, Juarez environment, learns English, learns Spanish, but his life is in Mexico. The baby's life is in Mexico. When the child becomes an adult, they have full rights and privileges of American citizens, so they come across the border, because they are American citizens, they can attend American public schools. So they're attending American public schools. They go out and get grants. They get jobs. And these are the people who are working for fast food restaurants, who are working at the warehouses, who are cleaning toilets at hotels and hospitals. And the people of El Paso, who born in El Paso, raised in El Paso, don't want to do these jobs. They would like to work, but they don't want to do these jobs. So it is a industry that wants cheap labor. And one of the reasons you don't do a job is because of the money it pays you. In El Paso, Texas, if you're a security guard, you're getting paid minimum wage. You're being asked to carry a gun, put your life in danger for minimum wage. The company doesn't offer you any insurance of any kind in case you should be injured, in case you should die on the job. Okay? And there is this industry. So, on that issue, it is apparent that there are American businesses who are pushing politicians so those politicians will help them get a ready source of cheap labor. The other part is you got to understand you belong to a global economy. Germany, France, Britain, England, Scotland, Spain. Excuse me, this thing went off. I'm working here, it shouldn't go off. They have an interest, all those countries that I mentioned, they have an interest in economic success. And the political leadership and the business leadership of those countries is influencing American politicians for the same reason. Cheap labor. Having labor that is going to cost you twice as much. Let's say these individuals who want to change the minimum wage from $7.25 federal minimum wage in America to $15. That's a doubling, okay, of that expense to a company. I believe in everybody's freedom. I believe in everybody's right. You have a company, manage it your way. I'm an independent business person. It's not a great business. Some people would laugh at it. Some people do laugh at it. But I run it my way as far as I can. So I have no problem with people running their business their way. I have no problem with people influencing politicians, bribing politicians. If they get caught, they go to jail. But the American people need to understand that you're being told a lie. Mexicans are not victims. They're victims of their own making. They're victimizing themselves. They're taking advantage of the fact that American politicians and American special interest groups are offering freebies. They're smart. They hear the news, they read the newspapers, they understand what is being offered to people who want to come to this country. And they're more than willing to take advantage of it. You're not getting doctors. I mean, you're never going to get a chance to visit a holding cell or a holding area where Border Patrol keeps the people who enter into this country illegally. But if you went there, you were not going to talk to a doctor. You're not going to talk to a doctor from Mexico who decided to enter America illegally. You're not going to talk to a lawyer who decided to enter America illegally. You're not going to talk to an engineer who decided to enter America illegally. You're not going to get somebody who's been working in the Mexican government. You know, you're getting the worst that Mexico has to offer. And I've written many articles on how I view the average person from Mexico. I have no ill will. I feel a moral responsibility to tell the good and decent people of America exactly who is coming into this country. People who have dedicated their lives to learning, disrespect for authority, disrespect for law and order. You're not getting people who are coming here to offer you their best and help improve America. You're getting people who want to take advantage of everything that they've been told they can take advantage of. Welfare, food stamps, government housing. So the issue that I'm discussing in this illegal immigration reform is the midterm elections in the United States Congress. And many of us would have desired that more conservatives stood up and kicked out these people like Mitch McConnell and John Boehner. And that's not going to happen. The work to micromanage this individual, and that's a solution. Everything has a solution. I've always been, well, not always, but lately in my life, I have been a solution-centered person. And we need to stay on task every day of our lives for the rest of our lives. We can't let these politicians believe that they've been elected and they can go off and do what they want. We have to show up and annoy them, harass them every single day. Harass them with emails, with phone calls, with regular letters. Go visit them. If you live in Washington, you need to go visit them. Yell at them, scream at them. You know, let them know that you're not happy with the direction that they're taking the country, with what they are attempting to do. And that's the issue. So if you didn't stand up, conservatives, I'm talking to conservatives, not liberals. If you fail to stand up and take these people out of office, now your only option is to micromanage them. That means every day you have to be aware of what they're doing, and every day you have to communicate with them and tell them that you don't want illegal immigration reform or anything else. Which moves me to the next issue, and I'm quickly going to go into Hillary Clinton, who in America is not aware of Hillary Clinton. Maybe newborns, maybe 10-year-olds. But those of us who were alive during her husband's presidency know the miserable spectacle that she made of herself. We're not confused about who this individual is, politically or personally. We know exactly who she is. We have no problem understanding who she is. The issues of the nation right now, 18 trillion. One issue, the most important issue, is $18 trillion national debt. I was thinking about when I was meditating to do this video. I was thinking about the promises that Obama made. He was going to give 95% of Americans a tax cut. He said they were shovel-ready jobs. He said he was going to cut the deficit. He said he was going to cut the national debt. He doubled the national debt. He did cut the deficit, but he increased the national deficit by 50% and then cut it 35%. So in reality, he increased it 15%. We all know about his lies with Obamacare, that if you like your doctor, you can keep it. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. And the point being is, we've seen Hillary Clinton. The first form of Obamacare was Hillary Care. Hillary Clinton, when her husband put her in charge of reviewing the American medical system, a person with no medical experience whatsoever. Why he appointed his wife, who knows. But the end result was the same thing that Obama came up with, which was that every individual should be personally responsible and every individual should have health insurance. There's nothing wrong with that principle, as long as you're interacting with the free market system. And right now with Obamacare, you're not interacting with the free market system because you don't have choice. Competition between companies controls prices. You don't have choice in Obamacare. You don't have the free market system. We all should be personally responsible. It is our health. It is our health care. It is our medical treatment. Then we need to contribute to it. And I have no problem paying for insurance in an honest system. Obamacare is not an honest system. The insurance industry in America is not an honest system. You can give your hard-earned money to an insurance company, and when it comes time that you need them, they'll look through the pages, 50, 75 pages that came with your policy to find the reason not to pay, not to follow up on their, and legally they're correct. So I guess the the admonition is, no matter what insurance you get, don't sign anything till you read everything they send you. If it's 100 pages, read 100 pages. If it's 300 pages, you got to read 300 pages. But the reality is you don't have choice. In the free market system, you have choice. Competition controls the prices. Anyways, on the issue of Hillary Clinton, she is the author of Obamacare, because that's what she came up with. Economically, she's not going to reduce the national debt. She's going to attempt to reduce the national debt by increasing taxes. This is what they do. It isn't hard to understand. Dogs bark. Liberal Democrats want to increase taxes. Liberal Democrats want to increase taxes and spend more money. Obama knows America has an $18 trillion national debt, borrowing from the Federal Reserve, printing money, buying stocks and bonds. The free person is not engaged in the stock market. It is the federal government who's buying all this stuff up. That's an artificial economy. You're going to collapse. It has to collapse. The only thing that can happen with the American economy is that it has to collapse. So you're going to have a person come in here who by record is a tax and spend person. You raise taxes at this point in time, and you're going to damage the American economy more. So what actual benefit are you going to get from electing Hillary Clinton? You're going to need a person has to be strong enough to cut spending. That's not Hillary Clinton. You're going to need a person that respects the American people. Obama has spent his time laughing at American conservatives. taking it, conducting business by himself, violating the American Constitution, violating the the American governmental system. You don't need another person like that. You need a serious business administrator who knows how to cut, who knows how to save, who knows how to stick to the basic services. That's not Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has no respect. She has a greater negative attitude towards conservatives. Obama thinks he's laughing at Republicans. No, he's laughing at every person who holds the values that some Republicans hold. So, moving from national security to Hillary Clinton, by discussing Hillary Clinton, discuss the national debt problem, national security, immigration is always sticking out there, and they're trying to break your will. They're trying to get you to get upset and run away, and you just can't run away. I'm going to close this video by telling you that it's hopeless if we don't believe in ourselves. We don't have to believe in politicians. We don't have to believe in business people. We have to believe in ourselves. That's why I say it's over when I give up. And it's over when you give up. We can't give up. We don't have the option of giving up. Giving up means that America becomes a wasteland. If we don't want to live in the America we're living in today, we definitely cannot want to live in a wasteland. So we have to fight. We have to work. We have to let these politicians know that enough is enough. You will stop spending. You will stop helping people from Mexico enter this country. They have their own country. They can take care of their own problems on their side of the border. Thank you for listening. I wish you well.